the Paracave Podcast, proudly brought to you by major sponsor Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Clothing, and the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, the Parramatta Times.
Welcome to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. And now over to your host, Troy Warner, broadcasting live from the world-famous Paracave.
And yes, hello and welcome back to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. Troy Warner here, and this is the interview-based podcast that comes out on a Thursday. And today it is a very special guest. Well, they are all special guests that I get to talk to. I feel very privileged to talk to each and every one of my guests that come on the podcast, that give me the time and their chats about their careers and the like. So this is no exception at all. Today's chat is with a NRLW premiership winner that played at the Newcastle Knights, also played at the Sydney Roosters and the Cronulla Sharks, and he's looking to get back into playing NRLW, but has also represented the Cook Islands and also New Zealand in rugby league as well. And that is Kiana Takairangi, a very famous name. Obviously, her brother is Brad Takairangi, one of my favourite ever Parramatta Eels players. But Kiana has her own story, her own rugby league story, and it really is an interesting one. Now, we have been trying to set this one up for a while, and we finally got to do it, so I really thank Kiana for her time and her chat. It was really interesting, certainly about the chat about playing over in America in the Legends Football League. That was certainly very interesting, and potentially her future in NRLW. Hopefully, one day maybe playing in the blue and gold, just like her father and her brother as well. That would be quite special, I reckon, anyway. But look, also, she's doing great things with her best mate, Corbin Baxter, with CK Athletic Development, which is teaches young kids speed and agility development, footy skills development as well. So you can find them at www.ckathletic.com.au. They are also on Instagram as well, CK Athletic Development. So check them out, I should say. Give them a follow on Instagram as well. Doing great stuff with young rugby league players, both male and females as well. But really great to see there as well. So look, I hope you really enjoy this chat as much as I did. I certainly did. And look, this wouldn't be at all possible without the help of the sponsors. Jack's Pale Ale, exclusively available at Parramatta Leagues Club, Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty, BTZD Teamwear, also the Parramatta Times, the official media partner of the Paracave Podcast, League Tees, and also new sponsor as well, our game day sponsor, Guess the Score competition, Grip Stocks as well. So thank you very much for coming on board with the Paracave Podcast. I really appreciate it, and thank you to all the other sponsors as well. It is much appreciated. But look, that's enough of me of talk. That's enough of me talking. Look, I'm really stumbling with my words at the moment. You want to hear the interview with Kiana, so as Hindy says,
get a beer, coffee, whatever you want.
Sit back, relax, and enjoy, and let's get straight into it. And today on the podcast, I've got a very special guest and a player who has played at the highest level in the women's competition for the Cook Islands and also the New Zealand side as well. Has won a premiership in the NRLW with the Newcastle Knights, scoring 2 tries in the grand final. Is the sister of one of my favourite ever Parramatta Eels players, Brad Takarangi. Welcome to the Paracave podcast, Kiana Takairangi.
Thanks, Troy. I know we've been chatting, trying to get this to happen for a while now, so it's good to finally be on talking with you.
No worries. Thank you very much for joining me. I really appreciate it. Now, growing up, I guess, in a rugby league sort of household, your dad played for Parramatta as well, 3 games. Was rugby league something that you always wanted to play?
Not at all, Troy. Like when I grew up, it was only I only knew footy for my brother and my dad. I never think it even crossed my mind, to be honest, to play, because back then I didn't know of any girls playing. There was probably like a token girl in maybe a couple of the boys' teams, but it wasn't something that I ever really aspired to do myself. Although I was like heavily involved in it, because most of my weekends were spent down at our local club, but it was always supporting my brother and my dad. So it's funny how times have changed. I wish I was lucky enough to be like the girls these days, because they have a pathway basically from 12 years all the way up now, which is unreal.
Yeah, definitely. Was there any, I guess, sort of, obviously Brad played as a youngster. Was there any like household battles at home? Backyard footy?
Oh, not too much. I definitely was the annoying little sister who tried to follow him around, but he was very much, he was always sporty. I wasn't too interested in footy. He used to just do his own thing. He was always kicking the ball around by himself or commentating, on himself, playing footy, running around the house, but I wasn't too interested. Yeah.
What were then the sort of sports that you aligned yourself with? What did you enjoy playing as a kid growing up?
Yeah, I grew up playing field hockey, which is good now, because I don't know too many people that play it now, but I played that for maybe 10 to 12 years. I played for a long time growing up. My mum played, and my nana was also a hockey player. She, I think, got selected to play for New Zealand back in her day, but then she fell pregnant. So that was kind of more in the family for the girls. So I just kind of went down that path originally before I got into like OzTag and touch footy at school. And then, not into rugby league until a little bit later on.
So then through OzTag and touch football, is that how you found yourself into playing rugby league?
My story is probably a little bit different. Before I played rugby league, I played American football, gridiron.
Yeah.
I got into gridiron straight after playing a bit of OzTag and touch. They had an American league come over to New South Wales, so they had some tryouts because I'm going to run the first ever, gridiron league here. So I jumped into that, and I played a couple of years of that here in New South Wales. And then I actually moved overseas, and I spent a year working on some super yachts, but then another couple of years playing gridiron, and that's kind of when league started taking off back here at home whilst I was overseas. So it took my best friend Corbin Baxter. She, I was keeping in touch with her, and she was doing really well and telling me like, I'm playing league now. You need to come back. Like, it's getting, it's getting good for us girls. Like, you'd be perfect to be playing in it as well. So it took me. I was away for maybe 2.5, close to 3 years, and then I ended up coming back and getting to league after that.
Was that overseas gridiron? Was that with the Los Angeles Temptation at all?
Yeah, that's the one, yes.
So how was that experience then, playing for them?
Oh, it was unreal. It was a really cool experience. It's something that I'm really grateful that I got to do in my life. I think, I met a lot of girls over there, so I've still got some close friends who I keep in contact with, but the experience is very different to anything I've ever been a part of. There's a lot of amazing athletes within the sport. The sport itself isn't run very well, or it wasn't run very well. It was very much a business, so it kind of took away a little bit from the actual athleticism of all the girls, which is a shame. But it was a lot of fun, and it's something that I'm really grateful I got to experience.
And we saw at the start of this year, the NRL took a game to Las Vegas. When you were over there playing gridiron, was there any mention about rugby league at all over there in the US?
Nah, nothing at all. Nothing at all. They would mention that they heard that, in Australia we play football without pads and helmets like they do, and they just think that we're crazy. So I can only imagine the response to, to all the Americans over there if they actually got out to see the games. I'm sure they would have been very impressed.
Well, now next year we see again the rugby league going to Las Vegas, but the Gillaroos are taking on, I think it's the English side over there in the game there. That they must be going to be amazed about that one as well. And it's great to see that the women's game gets promoted over there as well.
Oh, absolutely. I think a lot of us girls were hoping that would be the case. So I know a lot of the Gillaroo girls are going to be super excited for that. I think it's massive for the girls' game. So, yeah, obviously it was great just for the boys to get over there and get to experience that, but for the girls to be able to get an opportunity next year, it's really exciting.
So when you came back, did you look to, obviously Corbin Baxter there talked you into playing rugby league when you came back, and is that how you got your start at the Roosters in NRLW, or what were you?
Kind of. So I what happened before I moved home properly, I was home for about a month before going back over to the States, and within that month, the Cook Islands were running some trials for a qualifying game for the World Cup. So I'd seen that on Facebook. I think I'd messaged one of the girls I knew and just said, hey, can I come down just to come and train with you guys? Like, I wanted to come for a run around sort of thing. So I remember I went to a couple of trainings with them, and then we played a game, and I think somehow we ended up qualifying through to the World Cup. So that was what I was going to come home for the following year. I was like, okay, well, that's my plan. I'm going to go back, play another season of gridiron, and then I'll come back in time for the World Cup. So I did that and literally jumped straight into the World Cup with playing a couple of games of rugby league.
Yeah.
And got into it from there. It was probably a bit of a shock for me. Obviously, I'd been playing a different sport before going into the highest level of rugby league that there was, playing for the Cook. So that we didn't do very well. That World Cup was 2017 World Cup. We didn't do very well. We lost our last game, and I remember I broke my leg, so I was stuck at home. It probably took me about 12 months before my leg was back to being 100%. So I got a full season of club footy under my belt, playing at the Sharks, and I got picked up for the Roosters after that season.
And just how special is it playing for the Cook Islands in a World Cup? Because obviously you've got the family links there.
Yeah, it's really special. It's always an honour to put on, whether it's the Cook Island or the Kiwi jersey. It's just really special to be able to represent our family, and especially the Cooks. It's such a small island or group of islands. So, we always try to, represent as well as we can, and just try to put our country on the map. And
recently you actually got back to the Cook Islands. How was that experience? What was that like?
Yeah, so Corbs and I, we've got our own little business here that we run in Sydney, but we coach a bit of speed and agility and a bit of rugby league skills coaching. So we decided 2 years ago actually to go over and run a clinic over in the islands, and a really positive response from that first one. I had taken over a couple of the girls, who I play league with, and they had a ball. So the kids loved it, and we decided to go back again at the start of this year, Corbs and I, and we took some more friends over, and the kids over there just love it. We always try to take, whatever gear we can get between ourselves and, from our friends and stuff, and the kids over there just, means the world to them, and it's something that we're really passionate about, and something that we're going to continue to keep trying to do and get, more of our friends, and just try to really make the most of our network that we have, and try to make an impact on these guys' lives over there, because they don't have much over there, but if you give them a pair of shorts or a shirt, it means the world. So something we're going to keep trying to do.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think it's fantastic, the work that you're doing there. You mentioned there your business with Corbin, CK Athletic Development. How did that all come about? What was the thinking of starting up a business like that?
Yeah, so Corbs and I, we used to both work with Roger Fabry. So we started off both being speed coaches under Rog. And he taught us, just about everything we know to do with speed. So we did that for a number of years. And then obviously he's based over in the east. So we always wanted to try to come and move closer to home, in the south, in Cronulla. So we kind of just, combined to start CK Athletic. Originally, it was more to do with just girls-only rugby league clinics. There wasn't really much happening for girls, and we knew that things were going to start taking off with the girls' game, so we wanted to try to, get involved and help out the girls with that sort of process, and started with some girls-only clinics, and they were pretty successful, but we had some interest from, boys as well, so we wanted to not just limit it to the girls only, so we kind of evolved to do both boys and girls speed coaching. Like we created some groups doing that, and then we also got into rugby league coaching for both boys and girls, and it's kind of just taken off from there. It's going really well at the moment, so it's something that we're both very proud of.
Oh, that's great news. I'm assuming the CK is Corbin and Kiana in the title there?
Correct. We're very we spent a day planning where we just tried to come up with a name and we couldn't come up with anything. So that's what we've ended up with. Very original.
That's okay. That's very, very smart there. And where can people find you if they're interested in about getting involved?
Yeah, they can just jump on Instagram. That's probably where we post the most stuff. So Instagram, just literally CK Athletic Development, or we have our website as well, which is just ckathletic.com.au. So either way, we have all our registrations and stuff up on the website, but more updates are probably on the Instagram page.
No worries, we'll post that one up as well. I guess you mentioned there sprint coaching. Who do you think is the fastest player in the NRLW?
Oh, in the NRLW, who would I think? I think Tegan Berry looks super quick.
Okay, yeah.
I think she'd have to be up there. I just think off the top of my head, who else would be up there? Who've you got?
Well, we've seen Jamie Chapman score some length of the field tries as well.
You're right, actually. I'd like to see a race between those two. That would be a great game. A great race. I actually, Corbs and I coach Chapo's little sister, Lucy, and she's doing really, really well. So, yeah, maybe Chapo, actually, I think.
Yeah,
should be hard.
We always see there's been recent talk about the men's game about who would be the fastest in the NRL, but it'd be interesting to see the NRLW as well.
Yeah, you're right. I think over 100, I think Chapo would win. If it was shorter, maybe Tegan.
Yeah, no, for sure. She's Jamie Chapman has scored some great tries in Origin this year, and for the Titans as well. Getting to your NRLW career, you made your debut for the Roosters. Was that a definite step up from the World Cup?
Yeah, it was. Well, yes and no. I mean, I'd only played one season of footy.
Yep.
At club level before going to the Roosters and making my debut there. So I was pretty new to the sport still. But yeah, the quality of the game from that, it's come leaps and bounds, I reckon, if we are comparing what it was like in 2019 to now. I think the game's come a long way. But yeah, for me personally, I was still pretty new to it. So I was pretty lucky to be in that position to get a start then, I think.
Was 2022, when you played for the Newcastle Knights, was that your favourite year of playing NRLW?
Yeah, it would have had to been. My experience up there with the Knights was unreal. It's something that I'm really grateful I got to be a part of. The Knights as a club were unreal. I think the treatment that we got was really, you kind of feel as a female athlete, and this I'm not complaining at all, I'm grateful, but with my experience, you always kind of put second to the men, which is fine. But Newcastle just made us feel really like on par with the men. We just felt really valued, really well looked after. We had full access to the brand new CEO up there, the excellence, and it just made you feel like a real professional. So with us coming away with that result, I think it was just a reward for the effort and the professionalism that we were given by the club, because they were unreal.
And they're going for the treble this year, the three-peat.
Yes.
And obviously following in the path of the Panthers in the men's game. But getting to that grand final in 2022 against the Parramatta Eels, how was that lead up for you, that lead up to the game? Was it just another game, or it was a more important game, or how did you train and react to the week leading up to that game?
Yeah, I remember we didn't change too much. Our preparation was really solid throughout the entire season. We didn't do anything super special, but the club did make an effort to kind of make it feel really special. I remember we had some of the old Knights boys come in and speak to us the week of, and I remember they had that a lot for us, actually. They were really good with getting some of the old boys to come in and speak to us and just talk about the importance of the jersey and, you know, the history of the club and what it means to be able to put that on. So I think they did a really good job with that sort of thing. And yeah, I just remember the lead up, not feeling like overly worried or anxious, knowing it was such a big event. I think we had just prepared really well, and it felt just, obviously it was the grand final, but we weren't, it wasn't intimidating for us, you know what I mean? We were ready to go. And
no doubt scoring 2 tries in a grand final is pretty special as well.
Yes, you're probably still upset with me. I know that was but yeah, that was a pretty cool moment.
Yeah, definitely. The Newcastle Knights come away with the victory, 32 points to 12. I was a little bit disappointed, obviously, defeating Parramatta. I was there for that game.
Oh, no.
Is that potentially the biggest crowd that you've played in front of over your career?
That was really cool. I remember heaps of fans already being in there for our game, which was so cool. And, you know, for us girls, our crowds... the Origin has obviously been very different this year because the girls' crowds for the Origin have been unreal, but typically the girls' crowds for our regular season games at NRLW, you know, they're not very strong. So being able to play in front of a whole heap of people inside ANZ or whatever, what's it called now?
Accor, yeah.
Yeah, that was really special. It was really cool.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. As you mentioned, the women's game is just definitely growing and growing. As you mentioned, the State of Origin series that was sold out this season, and there's a lot of interest in the game. What are your thoughts on the time of the seasons for the NRLW? Is there another time that they can do it? I mean, obviously, I know the NRL plan it to try and lead into the finals of the NRL.
Yep.
But the State of Origin is played before the NRLW season. Last season, it sort of made a difference in that playing that then, because there was a lot of mistakes in the game. This year, it didn't seem to be. They were all 3 high-quality games. What are your thoughts on the scheduling?
Yeah, I know. Well, yeah, it's not ideal, obviously, to go straight into Origin with no games under our belts. Well, that was for New South Wales anyway. The Queensland girls, they still played their club competition earlier in the year, so they had some games of footy, whereas all the New South Wales games, so we didn't have anything because the Harvey Norman competition, which is our club competition or state competition, has been pushed back to be in line with NRLW for the first time ever.
Okay.
So people were kind of questioning whether that would work in Queensland's favour or New South Wales' favour, you know, having some games under their belts. And originally from the first game, we thought that it worked in New South Wales' favour because they just looked fit and strong and ready to go. But then obviously Queensland ended up coming away with the win in the end. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think the structure of it at the moment is like ideal. I think it would be cool to maybe play the NRLW season earlier on in the year. And then, I don't know what the solution is, but I don't think the way they have it at the moment is ideal. And again, a lot of people aren't even able to watch the games with the scheduling at the moment because, you know, you got the girls' games at 11 a.m. on a Saturday morning, and most people aren't home to be able to watch it at that time, you know. So it's challenging. I don't know what the solution is though.
Do you think one day we'll see all the NRL teams have a NRLW team in a competition?
Yeah, for sure. I think that'll come definitely in the future. I don't think it should come anytime soon because, you know, the quality of the game is going to be, you know, potentially dropped if they do expand too soon. There's already 2 new teams coming in next year. So that's going to be interesting to see how they go with filling those rosters and how the quality of the game is kind of upheld. But, I think definitely in the future that's the dream anyway for everyone to have an NRLW team, but I don't think it would happen anytime soon.
And also playing for the Maori All-Stars was pretty special indeed as well against the Indigenous All-Stars a few years ago. Brother Brad played for the men and you played for the women.
Yeah, that was a really, really cool experience. I loved representing the New Zealand Māoris, and I remember the week in camp was just a lot of fun. You know, there's a lot of culture within those sorts of camps, and you learn a lot, especially for me. You know, I've grown up here in Cronulla. I was born and bred here, so wasn't super in touch with my Māori side. So those camps have definitely helped me kind of feel a better connection to my to my roots, which is always good.
Yeah, for sure. Or that week leading up to that game is always great for the players to get involved and get back to their cultures and their heritage and learn a bit more about it. As you mentioned there, it was good for yourself, and I think other players get the same as well. You moved to the Sharks after the Knights and played there. Was there much difference between the Sharks and the Knights clubs?
Yeah, to be honest, it was very different because last year was the first year for the Sharks being in the NRLW comp. So I think, you know, they were still kind of trying to find their feet with everything. So it was quite a different experience to what I had up in Newcastle, but you know, Cronulla's home for me, so I kind of took that opportunity to try to stay a bit closer to home and be able to work and still, upkeep my business, because that was probably the biggest challenge for me when I did move up to Newcastle.
Okay, yeah.
It was hard to be able to do anything with that. So, yeah, it was a different experience, although, you know, like I've played for the Sharks ever since I started playing footy, so the club was really close to my heart. It was something that I was keen to do, like keep that jersey on and do well for the club. But unfortunately, I didn't have a very good season last year. I was kind of in and out of the team after the first few rounds, so not my best season. But that's okay. We kind of move forward and we learn from that. And I'm over with the Bunnies now. I'm playing at the Rabbitohs, which has been another new experience, but it's Harvey Norman level, so you know it's that one level under the NRLW, which has been probably a little bit challenging, but again, you can learn from it and you just kind of build from there.
And is there a potential eye to are the Harvey Norman teams, are they a feeder team for the NRLW teams in a way at all?
Yeah, they are, but where I'm at now, the Rabbitohs, we don't feed into any team, so our team's just as it is for this year.
Is there a goal to potentially play NRLW next year?
Yeah, absolutely. That's definitely the goal. So we'll see how we go with that. I'm off contract, actually. I need to try to find another manager because I was pretty disappointed with not getting a spot for this season.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm playing some all right footy at the moment. I'm doing my best in the situation because I'm playing in a very, our team's quite new. There's a lot of new girls, a lot of young, new upcoming talent, which is really exciting. So it's been kind of cool being one of the older girls and just trying to share some of my experience with the girls. But we're not doing too good at the moment. We've lost 3 now, 1-2, or did we just lose 4? Yeah, we just had another loss yesterday, which was a tough one. So, doing my best to play some good footy, even though we are losing. We're not playing our best footy as a team, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully we can, find a spot for me next year.
And is that something that you enjoy doing, is being one of the experienced ones and being able to pass on your knowledge to the girls coming through the grades?
Yeah, it has been really nice. I mean, I kind of forget how old I am when I'm hanging around the girls because I do hang around with a lot of the younger ones, just not even thinking about age, to be honest. But especially this year going into the South system, I really realised pretty quickly how old I am and how new some of the girls are. But they've been great with just asking a lot of questions. Everyone's really keen and eager to learn, which is really good. And I'm just happy to be able to help wherever I can.
Is there any thought of potentially joining Parramatta Eels? Your dad played there, your brother played there. That'd be pretty special if you played there as well. Has there been any thought about joining the Eels?
Yeah, there is actually. I'd love to play for the club. I'm good friends with the assistant coach, Kate Mullally. So I was trying to get in her ear a little earlier this year. Surely you can give me a start, but didn't have any luck there this year. But it's definitely something that I'd love to do. I'd love to finish off my career there. To be honest, I know I've still got some good books left in me, so we'll see what happens.
Well, as I mentioned, your dad played there, your brother played there. I think that'd be pretty special if you played there as well. I couldn't think off the top of my head of another father, brother, sister combination that's played at a club.
A club, yeah, that'd be pretty special.
Might be the first.
I know. We'll see how we go.
Yeah, that's it. Well, hope to see you there one day in blue and gold, that's for sure. Time for some common league questions. Do you have a favourite game that you've played throughout your career at the moment?
Favourite game?
One that stands out, one you thought, oh, geez, I really just love that game.
Yeah, I do actually. One was I was playing for the Kiwis. We were in the World Nines. And we beat Australia, and no one, everyone had written us off. No one thought we had a chance, and we beat them. So that was a pretty special one.
That was a pretty good tournament. I think that was at Combank Stadium, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, it was a great experience. What has been your favourite ground that you've played at throughout your career?
Ooh, that's a good one. Favorite ground. Oh my gosh. Let's say a call for the grand final. I think that was pretty cool. Just because of the atmosphere, because there was a lot of people in the stadium, and it's a good ground as well. So yeah, we'll say that.
All right. What about on the flip side? Is there a least favourite, one that you don't like playing at for whatever reason?
Yeah, there is actually. With our Harvey Norman competition, we play a random Monday night game at the New South Wales Centre of Excellence.
Okay. Yeah.
And for every game that I played there, I thought it was a bit of a thing on the Sharks. I thought it was just bad luck with the Sharks. We'd lose every game. So it's still blame the field. I reckon it's a little bit short.
Okay, yeah. It's probably not a normal rugby league field, is it?
No, I think it's actually a bit short in both length and width. So,
who's been the hardest player to tackle or play against?
Oh, that's a hard one. I'd like to think maybe Mele Hufanga.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think last year when we played against her, she was on the other side of the field, so I was cheering. Or actually the other one, Kere Matua, who plays at the Canberra Raiders. She's another beast, someone you don't want to have to go up against.
That's right. Now, playing on the wing most of the time, I guess you would have had to have caught a high ball from a kicker. Who's been the hardest kicker to catch a ball from?
Oh, that's a hard one. I can't really think of someone straight off the top of my head, to be honest.
No, that's all right.
Yeah, I can't think of one. I know the girls' kicking game's a little bit different to the men's.
Yeah.
But I can't think of who really stands out as a super Yeah, I don't know. Can you help me out? Can you think of someone?
Uh,
We don't of the NRLW, you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, it's not a massive kicking game, I guess. Just trying to think of some kickers. Jesse Southwell would have been on your side.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe Lauren Brown, perhaps.
Maybe, yeah.
Yeah, those two come to mind. Do you have a favourite try that you scored in your career?
Favourite try? We'll just go with the ones in the grand final.
Yeah, no, that must be pretty special.
Yeah.
Now, is your nickname Tax as well, or Taco as well?
A little
Like
bit.
Brad, or do you have another one?
No, I get that a little bit as well.
Yeah, no, that probably stands out, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably easy. Was there ever a player in the warm-up or in the sheds before a game that you looked over and you thought, oh, that's just giving me confidence that we're going to do well today, knowing that they're warming up, playing for my side?
One person I'd say was probably Millie Boyle up at the Newcastle, who stands out with that. Just very calm, like was really good with getting around, having a chat with all the girls. I think she's a true leader. I liked playing beside Millie.
Now, she might fall into the next question. Who was the prankster at the clubs that you played for, and what did they get up to?
Oh, the pranksters. We don't have no one that really stands out, to be honest. There's a lot of shit talkers.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
Stirrers. I think one that stands out is Taylor Preston with that. She talks a lot of smack.
Okay, yeah. I think I saw on the Rugby League Guru socials they did a chat with the Cronulla girls, and a lot of them mentioned Taylor as in that category.
Yes, she'd be right up the top there, I'd say.
Yeah, that's it. Is there a player that you haven't had the opportunity to play with at the moment that you would love to play with in the NRLW?
Oh, you caught me off guard here with these ones.
Or even against?
I don't know. I think maybe playing beside one of the, like Tyler or Gail, one of the Sevens girls, who are just really creative and good on the ball. I think I'd love to be playing outside one of them.
And just your opinion on it's a pretty good effort, like I guess, to switch over from rugby union to rugby league. Do you think we'll see much more crossover of that?
Absolutely. I think there's going to be a lot of it to come, to be honest. I think with the Warriors getting a team next year, I think we could see a whole heap of girls come across, which is good because we want the best in our game, and they'll just continue to bring, the level and quality of the game up with their skills. So, I wouldn't be surprised if more of it happens next year.
And if you didn't come back from overseas and take up rugby league, what path do you think you would have gone down? What do you think you'd be doing?
Oh,
well, what was that one thing that you wanted to do growing up?
Oh gosh, I don't even know. Maybe try to be a singer or a dancer or something. I'm not very good at either, but maybe something that I might have tried. No, I actually have no idea, Troy. You've just really thrown a spanner in the works with that question.
Nah, that's okay. That's okay. I always wanted to be a policeman when I grew up, but that never happened. Time for the quick top 10. And this is simply a yes or no, or you can elaborate on it if you want to, but barbecue or tomato sauce?
Barbecue.
Oh, good choice. Where do you keep it, the fridge or the cupboard?
Oh, fridge. What do you do?
Cupboard for me, but that's all right. On a plane, do you prefer the window seat or the aisle seat?
Window.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
Big yes.
Okay, yep. Tea or coffee?
Tea. I'm a tea drinker.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Arnold Schwarzenegger or Sylvester Stallone?
Oh, like neither, but maybe Arnold.
Okay, yeah. Now, I know you're a pretty healthy person, an athletic person, but McDonald's or KFC?
I'd go with KFC.
Nice choice. Do you have a post game meal that you always go to after a game?
Oh, I don't, but I like to just treat myself. Like I'll have whatever I want. You know what I mean? I eat pretty good throughout the week, but after a game, I'm happy to treat myself and have whatever.
Yeah, fair enough. Are you a morning or night person?
Morning.
Yep.
I'm up early and I like to be in bed early.
Nice. Summer or winter?
Summer, definitely. I hate the cold, so I can't wait for this month to be over. So warm weather.
But rugby league's played in winter, so
I about it. That's
yeah. That's fair enough. Coke or Pepsi?
Neither, but Coke.
Yeah. And this one will be up your alley, I think. Cardio or weights?
Combination, but maybe weight.
Okay. Yeah. Nice. Nice. We'll wrap things up with the set of 6 questions. Favourite sport outside of rugby league?
Ooh, maybe track.
Okay. Yeah. Did you catch much of the Olympics that we've just seen?
I did. Well, I wasn't getting up in the early hours of the morning, but every morning I'd wake up and I'd watch the replays of the events that I wanted to watch. So, yeah, loved watching them.
What's your favourite Olympic event?
I like the 100s and 200s.
Okay, yeah. We saw Noah Lyles win that in the men's. I'm not too sure if he won it in the females, but he was certainly a character on the track, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Favourite holiday destination?
I'm going to go with Aitutaki in the Cook Islands.
Nice. Who would be the most famous person you'd love to meet and have a chat with?
Oh, I'm loving Sydney McLaughlin at the moment. She is the 400-metre hurdle gold medalist. Yeah, she's a favourite for now.
Yeah, nice. Which 3 teammates do you think you wouldn't want to be on a deserted island with, and why?
Oh, definitely Taylor Preston, because she talks too much. No, Taylor, Maddie Studden, because she loves a drink and she's an influence, and we'd probably get up to mischief. And the third person who I wouldn't want to be on the island with, I can't think of a third one.
Nah, that's all right. Nah, that's fine. What's your specialty dish in the kitchen or on the barbecue?
I'm not much of a cook, which is not good. I shouldn't say that.
Oh, don't worry, neither am I.
I'm pretty boring. When I do cook, I cook pretty plain sort of things. I'm just like a chicken and salad kind of girl. Nothing too exciting. So.
Nah, that's okay. I'm just bacon and eggs guy, or sausages or steak. That's it. But
whatever works. Yeah, I keep it simple.
That's it. And the last one, who is your favourite musician or band to listen to?
Oh, at the moment, who am I listening to? Call me up out again. I just love my 90s R&B. So I just listen to the same old 90s or 2000s R&B music. So, yeah, people in that mix. Actually, and the other one, I don't even know how to say his name. I'm not going to say it, so I'll say it wrong.
No,
we'll just go with 90s and 2000s.
Do you have a pump up song in the sheds before a game?
I do, and I don't know how to say the name of this song either, but it's I'm just trying to find the name of it. It's like I don't know if it's Lebanese or I don't know how to say the word.
No, that's okay.
Can I play it for you?
Yeah, you can if you want. That's something different. Yeah.
See if this works. I'm just going to try and put it.
Yeah.
Can you hear that?
No.
Oh, it's not working.
Okay. No, that's okay. That's all right.
And it's like a Lebanese kind of vibe song.
Okay. Nice. Not many people would know that one, that's for sure. definitely.
No. Well, I reckon they probably played at the stadiums before some of the games. Maybe the Doggies games. I'm sure they would all know it.
Yeah, that's a good call, that one. Well, Kiana Takarangi, thank you very much for joining me today on the Paracave podcast. I've really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed the chat about your career. I've seen you play a few times live, and hoping you can get back to the NRLW and play for the Eels perhaps. But thank you very much for joining me today on the podcast.
Thanks, Troy. Thanks for having me on.
Hello, Paracave podcast listeners. My name is Shannon Cooney from Glenmore Park Realty and long-term sponsor of the Paracave podcast. If you're looking to sell your property or buy, or just curious to know what your property is worth in today's market, give me a call today on 0421 588 445.
Well, thank you very much for listening to Kiana Takarangi and her rugby league story. Look, I wish her all the best in getting back into the NRLW. Certainly some interesting stories in that chat. Obviously, the grand final victory where she scored 2 tries in a grand final, unbelievable, with the Newcastle Knights in 2022. Unfortunately, that was against the Parramatta Eels. I was there that day, as I said in the chat, but Newcastle were too strong that day. And to score 2 tries in a grand final, absolutely amazing. But also representing the Cook Islands and New Zealand as well, and also her chat about CK Athletic Development. So check them out as well on Instagram. So thank you very much, Kiana. I really appreciate it and hope to catch up one day in the future and say good day. And I wish you all your best, all the best in your NRLW quest to play again. And hopefully it will be in the blue and gold. That will be really, really special. But thank you very much for everyone else for listening to this chat and all the podcasts that I bring out each and every week, the tipping podcasts. I hope you're enjoying Ella, my daughter, being on those ones. Something a little bit fun to do with her, get her involved in the podcast, and look, her tipping is much better than mine at the moment. That's why I've got her on, but it's also a little bit of daddy-daughter time, I guess you could say, as well. So look, it's something that we enjoy doing each and every Tuesday. So we've still got another 3 weeks of that to go, 4 weeks to go, so we'll still do that during finals as well. So I hope you're really enjoying that and the game day previews as well as these interview-based podcasts. Look, shoot me a message and let me know who you would like to hear from on the podcast, and I'll try and get them on. And if you do have any contacts that you would like to hear on the come on the podcast and talk about their careers in rugby league, please also get in touch as well, and we'll see if we can make that happen as well. Please give the podcast a follow on Instagram and Facebook. I'd really appreciate that one as well. And for those that have already done it, I really appreciate the support. It means a lot to me that I can do the thing that I love doing for you guys, the fans, the listeners, and it really means a lot to me as I love doing it. It's really enjoyable, and if you guys weren't listening and supporting me, then I wouldn't do it, to be honest, but you guys are the ones that are keeping me going, so I really appreciate it. Thank you very much for that one. If you would like to help the podcast as well, support the podcast with its production costs and the like, then you can head to the I've got on the link tree on the Instagram page. You can buy the podcast a coffee. Now, it's a virtual coffee, you could say, but it helps with production costs. As you know, it does cost money to produce these podcasts each and every week, with the likes of Zoom and also the audio as well. But yeah, there's a couple other costs involved as well. So if you would like to help support the podcast, then just check out the link tree on the Instagram page or head to buymeacoffee.com. I think I'll put the link in the show notes as well, where you can go there and help support the podcast. Thank you to those that have already. I really appreciate the support as well. You can also buy a Paracave podcast hat as well for $10 plus postage and handling. Just send me a message on one of the social media channels and we'll sort that one out as well. Thank you very much for listening to this episode with Kiana Takarangi. I really appreciate it. And look, stay tuned. There's still some more to come throughout the week. I think next up will be a game day preview. The Parramatta Eels taking on the Sydney Roosters as well. And then later next week, early next week, there'll be a review of that game as well as the NRLW game. So thank you very much for listening. Enjoy your weekend. If you're a Para fan, let's hope the Eels can get up. If you're not, then I hope your team does get up over the weekend. And look, as I say, the Paracave podcast, by the fan, for the fans. Go Para!
Thank you for listening to another episode of the Paracave Podcast. See